Hey, we're back. River Talk continues now, and we get to sit down and chew the fat with Duke Brown, the man, the myth, the legend from Horry County Beach Patrol. Hey, Duke.
How you doing this morning?
Good to see you.
You two look good. Deacon,
I am the
got
great white hunter.
Yes, you have that beach look. I like it.
That's
Yes.
the beach look, isn't it?
Yes.
Where did you get that hat, Deacon?
Panama Deke.
Yeah, that's it. That's just what I was thinking that.
This is our man's hat. I just stole it from him. I like it.
So
Yeah,
you
this-
wear another man's hat?
Yes, I would.
wouldn't do that. My mom was like that.
Well, this has looked pretty clean. I didn't see anything walking around in it, so I figured, what the heck,
Yeah.
man?
It's just been sitting on a shelf. So
Yeah, there
it's
you go.
good.
So I'm good.
So that was part of the attire once upon a time, Duke?
Yes, years ago, we usually had the white,
Right, sure.
jungle hats.
Right.
But I acquired that. I lost my white jungle hat somewhere in the mid '70s. So I acquired that one probably in the mid '80s. And,
Well, this is nice. I like
yeah,
this. This is
yes.
really. These
You
are
may
cool.
not get it back. You look good. Good. at it.
You like that?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seeing me on the beach more often. In my car, actually on the sand. Yeah, I was part of the lifeguard situation back in the late '60s, early '70s.
Really?
Of course, he can tell you that. Yeah, I worked for E.O. Baker, and I even helped out with. Well, no, actually, I worked for Moutrie Ladd, and then I helped out E.O. Baker. Then I ended up at the Myrtle Beach Pavilion back there. But here, you put that hat on. You
Oh, thank you.
look official.
You know, going back looking at the years on the beach, I started as a beach monkey, which is our former junior lifeguard for our beaches.
sure.
Back in 1965, I was a beach monkey or junior guard for Rodney Edge. And we used to camp at Lakewood Campground. And he was a lifeguard on the beach, Vernon Penner down there. And year after year, I started enjoying it. And, of course, I started learning a lot about the beach because those guys would teach you what they knew. And lifeguarding was a lot different back then than it is now. We've seen such a change in lifeguarding. Back in the 50s, 60s, even into the 70s, lifeguarding was a reactive type of activity. You reacted once you saw it. Now we do a lot of preventive actions and try to prevent having to go into the water. But when we were training back in the 60s and 70s, you were doing more of the direct contact rescue. You were not using equipment. Everything's pretty much equipment based. Lifeguards should not enter the water without his equipment now. But as we learned, you did cross chest carries, armpit toes, hair toes.
A what?
A hair toe, where you grab somebody by the hair.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Hair toe.
Hair
I got
toe,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
We did various, what we call direct contact rescues. And also, you had to be able to swim 500 yards using 5 different strokes at that time to get your lifeguard. Started out as senior life saving, then went to advanced life saving back in the 70s. In the early 80s, when the guards were still getting advanced life saving, the WSIs handled all that. In 1986, we started seeing a change with the Red Cross in the way that lifeguards were trained. WSIs started just handling swimming lessons.
What's the WSI?
Water safety instructor.
Okay.
They're ones that
All right.
were teaching all the
Okay.
lifeguards. And, excuse me, and the WSIs were handling swim lessons and doing community water safety activities. The Red Cross carried the lifeguarding aspect over into lifeguard, and they started calling the activity lifeguard or lifeguard. I can't remember the first term the Red Cross used. But everybody that was WSI, if they wanted to train lifeguards, they had to take the lifeguard test.
Okay.
And then if they wanted to stay WSIs, they had to, just stay where they were, just teaching lessons. So the problem we saw in 86 and 87, a lot of the older WSIs who'd been training for many years couldn't meet the time requirements with the Red Cross. So what the Red Cross allowed those guys to continue training because they still understood the skills, and it became equipment based too, but they could still be a teacher of those skills. What they didn't let those guys do was man a stand. So they could be an instructor without being lifeguard certified.
Okay.
But man a stand, you had to be able to meet the requirements. In 87, the requirements got really tough. You had to swim 500 yards in a certain amount of time. You had to make a rescue in a certain amount of time. You had to hold a brick up out of the water and tread for 2 minutes, just holding it up, using only your legs. So
Oh, my
it was
goodness.
right.
yeah.
It was right tough. And as we saw the Diney's come about, lifeguards started changing up because everything became site specific. The water parks started coming of age.
Okay.
So you ended up with water park lifeguards. You ended up with pool lifeguards. So those guys were being trained differently, and also water park guards being trained differently because it became a closed water environment. The requirements were different than beach lifeguard. So any lifeguard that came down certified had to go through specialized training on the beach to adapt their skills to the ocean
Oh, yeah,
environment.
totally
And
different animal, yeah.
we still do that now. Also, preventive actions started playing a big part of the lifeguard in the late 80s and 90s.
Right.
You just didn't wait till an accident happened. You looked to prevent those accidents. You looked for people that were prone to have problems. There was a lot of emphasis placed on scanning and surveillance, and also lifeguard, when Deacon and I did it, you learned CPR or first aid away from the lifeguard. Lifeguard was just lifeguard. Now, combination, you have lifeguard and you have first aid CPR built in as well as the preventive action. We deal with spinal injuries a lot differently now. We deal with using pocket masks, BDMs. When we went through CPR, you end up lip locking. You hope you save the person.
And hope they're pretty.
Yeah, and now you end up using
Yes, sir. No,
pieces
yeah,
of
ugly,
equipment,
ugly.
gloves, and the whole bit. Also, funniest thing about when we guarded, you had a tackle box, and you had change in there. So if you needed assistance, whether it be police rescue squad or whoever, a manager of the beach service, you sent some trusted person on the beach to go to the nearest phone booth and call
I see
what
Z-
you're saying.
and zero.
Yeah, no cell
Your,
phone.
your life was worth a quarter at that time.
you know,
Yeah, just call somebody who cares.
Right, and hope they didn't buy a snow cone and forget what you sent them for.
and true, and so they would call to get assistance down there. Well, now all the lifeguards have radios, and we have radio systems. I man the radios in the county, so if something starts going down, you got managers coming to them, you got additional lifeguards, you have potentially fire rescue coming to them, beach patrol. So you've got many layers coming to a potential
Sure,
problem.
yeah.
And two, when you made a rescue, you worried about going to get them, making contact, getting them in. You just had several elements. Now you look at lifeguard as you decide, recognize something, you decide what equipment you're taking, you decide your best entry point, you get out to them, you signal whether you're going to need other lifeguards not in the water, you come back in, you take care of them on the beach, you fill out a report. If they need assistance, then you got other layers to come to assist you, whether it's fire rescue, beach patrol, other lifeguards. Lifeguards go through CPR training, first aid training. The managers on the county beach services carry oxygen. They have guys that actually are trained EMTs also. Used to, it was, if you had first aid, advanced first aid, you're doing good.
Right, yeah.
When I went on the city beach patrol in 1982, we would get to a scene on the beach down there. Again, Myrtle Beach didn't have the crowds that back then we did, but we'd get down there and have to wait on the rescue squad. And the rescue squad at that time were volunteers. The fire department did not respond to medical calls
Right.
on the beach. It was Myrtle Beach Rescue or Surfside Rescue, whatever. We get down there and we'd start working on my. I had taken first aid in college, so I was able to, do what I could do. But it was nice to have some additional equipment. I talked to the chief at Myrtle Beach Rescue, Aaron Small. I said, what can I do to get some additional equipment so if there's delay in the unit getting to us, because there were not a lot of units, around the
Yeah,
county.
sure. Yeah.
What could I do, to kind of keep the problem at bay? And he said, well, take an EMT course, and we'll end up giving you a medic pack and oxygen and all that and join the rescue squad. So I ended up taking the EMT course, 82, 83. I was already a lifeguard instructor, or a WSI, and a first aid CPR instructor at that time. So it was easy to end up going through the EMT course. So I was the first EMT beach patrol officer
This
along the
guy's a
Grand Strand.
walking satellite hospital. I mean, he could do it all, really.
And I continue that. In fact, I'm still certified. I'm a National Registry Advanced EMT, but the county supported that. When I went on to work with the county in '88 as a waterfront safety person
Sure.
with the beach patrol, I had to have at least 5 years of experience as a lifeguard. I had to be a basic EMT. And there were several other areas I had to be commissionable, all that. Because on that beach, our beach patrol in the county are all certified as emergency medical responders. They all are lifeguard instructor. Half the beach patrol are lifeguard instructors. So they work with us. We train and assist training with the lifeguards on the beaches. We hold a kind of like a rookie class at the beginning of summer for new guards to give them scenarios so
Yeah.
they can adapt to a beach environment. So it makes a big difference. And our beach patrol has to meet all the requirements. They swim in the ocean, do skills in the ocean. Every year we go back in, do our 500 or 550-yard swim. We do treading. We also have to pick up the brick and bring it back 20 yards,
Yeah, oh,
from
yeah,
8,
yeah.
9 foot. We have to make rescues. So, I mean, our guys stay up on top of the game. And
Well, it's unlike what people think of a lifeguard as a bronze woman killer.
Yeah.
You know, everybody says, well, yeah, you're just going to be a lifeguard, pick up chicks. You know, they don't really realize, what goes into all that. I mean, it's insane.
The thing is, they're water watchers.
Right.
You've got to stay on top of
You
the
have
game.
to,
And
right.
we have a unique situation here. And now, because of the numbers of people we're seeing, they've added a different layer of lifeguards on the beach. They have what called LGOs with the services, the lifeguard only. So they're in high density areas that you have one person who's dedicated just to watch the water, not do any other responsibilities. You have other guards still have the dual responsibilities, but the main thing, we're making sure we cover the beaches. Now with the radios, all the equipment, you got supervisors in the beach patrol. You've got a whole group now that can respond to a situation and not have to wait a period of time to get assistance.
I got about a minute and a half left. These officers are out there. What you got a ballpark figure of the number that serves on beach patrol right now?
I think we have 15, and we have several more that are slated to come on board. The beach patrol in the county started in 1985. There were former lifeguards, many of them, and they went in and became police officers. Now we have individuals that might have guarded in other areas, just not so much Grand Strand, but we train them to be able to effectively work on our beaches. I mean, they're driving trucks now. They're able to use all the equipment effectively.
Right.
So it makes a big difference because these guys are going to be handling medical issues, water issues, and law enforcement.
Yeah.
So you could,
Heavy duty responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, all of us end up.
Yeah.
We may face a law enforcement issue first, then we may be facing a water issue next, and then medical. You have to be ready. I carry a trauma kit, oxygen, AEDs, and so on. And our guys also assist with training our police department. All our police officers in the county are first aid and CPR certified.
Wow.
They also can use Narcan. We train them with Narcan as
Yeah,
well
man,
as
it's an all-new ball
as
game,
well
that's
as tournaments. Tourniquets are the big thing now.
Okay.
The manufactured
Now, you're going to be
tourniquets.
back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, of
Correct.
course he is. Because
Yeah,
we didn't
okay.
even. I want to really start
Yeah.
our next little interview with you, talking about some of the equipment because you
Okay.
brought some vintage stuff that we didn't get to.
I
So.
also want to talk about the old days, man.
No, that's-
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. There we go.
The difference
Bronze
between then
Lady
and now.
Killers. That's going to be the name of my next rock band.
Exactly.
All right,
You
dude.
like that?
We'll see you on the next River Talk.
Sounds
Yeah, we
good.
got more. We'll talk about some of this equipment. We'll be right back with more in a bit.